I am Elena Martinez, 31 years old, and currently the Regional Operations Director for Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions, overseeing a team of 47 employees, including my own sister, who once benefited from the $47,000 college fund my parents liquidated to pay for her elaborate wedding. What my family never anticipated was that their decision to prioritize one daughter's single day of celebration over another daughter's educational future would eventually place them in the humiliating position of seeking employment from the very person they had dismissed as expendable. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The early morning alarm at 4:30 a.m. had become my closest companion during my teenage years in the industrial town of Riverside, Oregon. While my younger sister Isabella enjoyed the luxury of sleeping until noon during summer breaks, I was already dressed and walking toward the local diner where I worked the breakfast shift before attending summer classes at the community center. The contrast between our circumstances was not accidental, but carefully orchestrated by parents who had decided that Isabella possessed the charm and beauty worthy of investment, while I represented the practical child who would find her own way through determination and necessity. Our modest ranch house on Maple Ridge Drive housed 4 people, but seemed designed to accommodate only 3 dreams. The living room walls were adorned with Isabella's cheerleading trophies, homecoming queen crowns, and pageant photographs that chronicled her evolution from pretty child to stunning young woman. My academic certificates and honor roll achievements were relegated to the refrigerator, held in place by promotional magnets from local businesses, as if my intellectual accomplishments were temporary decorations rather than permanent sources of family pride. The financial dynamics of our household became apparent to me during my sophomore year of high school, when I requested funding for an advanced placement study guide that cost $37. My mother, Patricia Martinez, responded with a lecture about fiscal responsibility that would have been more appropriate for someone requesting a luxury vacation than essential educational materials. 2 days later, Isabella received approval for a $200 dress for the winter formal, purchased without discussion or hesitation. The message was unmistakable. My needs required justification, while Isabella's desires warranted immediate fulfillment. My father, Roberto Martinez, worked as a shift supervisor at the regional paper mill, earning a steady income that should have been sufficient for supporting our family's basic needs and reasonable aspirations. However, his financial priorities reflected a worldview that valued immediate gratification and social appearance over long-term investment and personal development. When Isabella expressed interest in anything, from designer clothing to expensive cosmetics, resources materialized effortlessly. When I needed textbooks, graphing calculators, or college preparation materials, the response invariably involved detailed explanations about budget constraints and the importance of earning what I wanted through personal effort. The college fund became a source of both hope and anxiety throughout my high school years. My maternal grandmother, Rosa Delgado, had established the education account when I was 12 years old, contributing $5,000 annually with the explicit intention of ensuring that her granddaughters could attend university without the financial burden that had prevented her own educational advancement. Grandmother Rosa frequently spoke about the importance of education for young women, sharing stories about opportunities she had missed because her family lacked resources for tuition and books. During family gatherings, Grandmother Rosa would inquire about my academic progress with genuine interest and pride. She celebrated my achievements in advanced mathematics, praised my acceptance into honors English courses, and encouraged my participation in academic competitions that other family members viewed as unnecessary complications to normal teenage social development. Her validation provided emotional sustenance during periods when my immediate family seemed indifferent to my scholarly pursuits. The fund's existence created an assumption in my mind that college attendance was guaranteed rather than contingent upon family priorities that might shift according to circumstances I could not predict or control. I focused intensively on academic excellence, maintaining a 4.2 grade point average while working part-time jobs that provided spending money without depleting the college fund that represented my future security and independence. Isabella's approach to high school was markedly different from mine, characterized by social engagement, romantic relationships, and extracurricular activities that emphasized appearance and popularity over intellectual development. She participated in cheerleading, student government, and social clubs that required significant financial investment in uniforms, equipment, and various fees that my parents paid without question or complaint. Her academic performance was adequate, but unremarkable, earning grades sufficient for graduation while focusing primarily on social experiences that she considered more valuable than scholarly achievement. The contrast in our educational priorities became particularly evident during our junior year, when I enrolled in advanced placement courses that required additional study time and resources, while Isabella concentrated on planning elaborate social events and maintaining relationships that she believed would provide greater long-term value than academic credentials. Our dinner conversations reflected these different worldviews, with Isabella discussing social dynamics and romantic developments, while I attempted to share academic insights that received polite but disinterested responses from other family members. My work experience began at age 14 when I secured employment at Morrison's Family Diner, a local establishment that served breakfast and lunch to blue-collar workers, retirees, and families seeking affordable meals in an unpretentious environment. The position required arriving at 5 a.m. to prepare for the breakfast rush, serving customers until 2 p.m., and cleaning equipment before departing for afternoon classes at the community center, where I participated in academic enrichment programs. Martha Morrison, the diner's owner and primary cook, became an unexpected mentor who recognized my work ethic and reliability in ways that my own family seemed incapable of appreciating. She observed my dedication to both employment responsibilities and educational pursuits, frequently commenting on my ability to maintain composure and efficiency during busy periods while managing academic demands that other teenage employees found overwhelming. The diner work provided practical education about customer service, financial management, and small business operations that complemented my classroom learning while generating income that I deposited into a personal savings account for college expenses beyond what the education fund would cover. Martha allowed me to study during slow periods, often bringing me coffee and encouraging my academic efforts in ways that made the workplace feel more supportive than my home environment. Regular customers began recognizing my dedication and commenting on my future plans with genuine interest and encouragement. Mr. William Anderson, a retired teacher who frequented the diner, would bring me books and academic articles that he thought would enhance my understanding of subjects I was studying. Mrs. Dorothy Chen, a local business owner, frequently discussed college options and career possibilities with knowledge and enthusiasm that my parents never demonstrated regarding my educational aspirations. These workplace relationships provided emotional support and practical guidance that filled gaps left by family indifference toward my academic and professional development. The adults who interacted with me at the diner seemed to understand that my current circumstances did not define my potential, encouraging ambitions that my parents dismissed as unrealistic or unnecessary for someone of my background and gender. The turning point in my understanding of family dynamics occurred during my senior year, when Isabella announced her engagement to Derek Thompson, a local mechanic she had been dating since junior year. The engagement itself was not surprising, given their long-term relationship and Isabella's frequent discussions about marriage and family planning. However, the elaborate wedding plans that immediately followed the announcement revealed financial priorities that would fundamentally alter my educational prospects. Isabella's vision for her wedding ceremony exceeded anything our family had previously contemplated in terms of cost and complexity. She described plans for a destination ceremony in coastal California, elaborate floral arrangements, designer wedding dress, professional photography, catered reception for 200 guests, and honeymoon travel to Europe that would require financial resources far beyond what my parents could allocate without sacrificing other commitments and obligations. The wedding planning discussions dominated family conversations for months, with Isabella researching venues, comparing catering options, and consulting with vendors whose services required deposits and payments that gradually depleted my parents' available resources. Each planning session revealed additional expenses that Isabella considered essential for achieving the perfect celebration she had envisioned since childhood. My parents embraced these wedding preparations with enthusiasm that they had never demonstrated regarding my educational achievements or college plans. They attended venue tours, participated in menu tastings, and consulted with wedding planners as if orchestrating this single event represented the most important accomplishment of their lives. The contrast between their engagement with Isabella's wedding plans and their indifference toward my academic future became increasingly apparent and painful. During spring semester of my senior year, I received acceptance letters from several universities, including Oregon State University, University of Washington, and Portland State University, each offering different academic programs and financial aid packages that would require careful evaluation and planning. I attempted to discuss these opportunities with my parents, seeking guidance about which option would provide the best educational value while remaining financially feasible given our family's resources. The conversations about college options were brief and superficial, characterized by my parents' apparent assumption that I would somehow manage the financial requirements independently while they focused on Isabella's wedding preparations. They seemed to view my university acceptance as an inevitable outcome that required no particular celebration or family involvement, unlike Isabella's engagement, which had prompted elaborate celebrations and congratulations from extended family members. The moment that defined my relationship with my family occurred on a Thursday evening in April, when I approached my parents about finalizing college enrollment decisions and accessing the education fund that grandmother Rosa had established for this specific purpose. I had calculated the total costs for my freshman year, factored in available financial aid, and determined that the education fund would provide exactly the resources needed to begin university studies without incurring debt that would burden my family or limit my academic options. My father's response to my request revealed a financial reality that I had not anticipated and was not prepared to accept or understand. He explained with apparent discomfort but no apology that the education fund had been temporarily borrowed to cover wedding expenses that had exceeded initial projections. The money would be replaced eventually through some unspecified future arrangement that he could not describe in concrete terms or realistic timelines. The conversation that followed was characterized by my parents' attempts to minimize the significance of this decision while emphasizing the importance of family unity and support for Isabella's happiness. They suggested that I could attend community college for 2 years before transferring to a 4-year university, a plan that would delay my educational goals while potentially compromising my academic momentum and scholarship opportunities that were available only to incoming freshmen. Isabella's response to learning about the college fund situation was perhaps more devastating than my parents' original decision. Rather than expressing concern or offering to modify wedding plans to preserve my educational opportunities, she suggested that I was being selfish and dramatic about circumstances that could be resolved through alternative approaches. Her attitude conveyed the assumption that my dreams and plans were inherently less important than her wedding celebration, a perspective that my parents seemed to share completely. The realization that my family viewed my future as expendable in favor of Isabella's temporary celebration created an emotional crisis that fundamentally altered my understanding of my place within family dynamics and my relationship with people I had trusted to support my aspirations. The betrayal was not simply financial, but represented a judgment about my worth and potential that would influence every subsequent interaction with family members. That night, lying in my childhood bedroom surrounded by academic awards and college acceptance letters that now represented impossible dreams rather than achieved goals, I made a decision that would define the next decade of my life. I would find alternative paths to the education and career success that my family had dismissed as unworthy of investment. Their failure to support my aspirations would become the motivation for achieving success that would eventually place me in a position to determine their own professional opportunities. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The weeks following this conversation were characterized by intensive research about alternative paths to higher education that would not require family financial support or approval. I investigated community college programs that offered transferable credits, scholarship opportunities for students from working-class backgrounds, and employment options that would provide both income and relevant professional experience while I pursued educational goals independently. Martha Morrison proved instrumental during this period, offering both emotional support and practical assistance as I navigated the complex process of redesigning my future without family resources or encouragement. She connected me with community, members who had successfully pursued education through non-traditional paths, provided flexible work scheduling that would accommodate class attendance, and demonstrated faith in my capabilities that my own family had failed to express. The graduation ceremony approached with an atmosphere of celebration for Isabella's upcoming wedding and apparent indifference toward my academic achievements. While I had earned recognition as salutatorian and received multiple academic awards, the family conversations focused exclusively on wedding preparations, vendor confirmations, and travel arrangements for the California ceremony that had consumed my educational fund. Standing at my high school graduation, watching my parents photograph Isabella's cheerleading squad, while largely ignoring my academic recognition ceremony, I understood that my future success would be entirely self-determined and self-funded. The motivation that would sustain me through years of challenging work and study was born in that moment of complete clarity about family priorities and my place within them. The registration line at Riverside Community College stretched across the gymnasium floor on that humid August morning, filled with students whose educational journeys had taken unexpected detours through financial necessity, family obligations, or simple recognition that traditional four-year university paths were not the only routes to professional success. I stood among them, clutching my course catalog and payment plan documentation, transforming disappointment into determination as I embarked on an educational journey that would prove more valuable than any prestigious university experience my original college fund might have purchased. Riverside Community College occupied a modest campus of red brick buildings constructed during the 1970s, lacking the architectural grandeur and manicured landscapes that characterized the universities I had originally planned to attend. However, the institution possessed something more valuable than aesthetic appeal. Faculty members who understood that education represented opportunity rather than entitlement, and student populations who approached learning with urgency and purpose that transformed classrooms into environments of focused intellectual engagement. My enrollment strategy emphasized courses that would transfer seamlessly to four-year universities, while providing immediate practical skills that could enhance my employment prospects and earning potential. Business administration, accounting, principles, computer applications, and communications formed the core curriculum that would establish academic credentials while developing competencies that local employers valued in entry-level professional positions. Professor Margaret Stevens taught Introduction to Business Management, with an approach that combined theoretical frameworks with real-world applications, drawn from her 20-year career in corporate human resources. She recognized immediately that many students were balancing employment responsibilities with educational goals, structuring assignments and exam schedules to accommodate working students while maintaining academic rigor that prepared them for university-level coursework. During the second week of semester, Professor Stevens announced a semester-long project that would require students to analyze local businesses and develop improvement recommendations based on management principles covered in our textbook readings. The assignment provided an opportunity to apply classroom learning to actual business environments while building relationships with community employers who might offer internship or employment opportunities to motivated students. I selected Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions for my business analysis project, recognizing that the healthcare industry offered stable employment prospects and advancement opportunities for individuals with appropriate education and demonstrated competence. The company operated several medical clinics throughout the region, providing primary care services to working families and seniors who represented the demographic I understood through my diner experience and personal background. The initial research phase revealed that Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions faced operational challenges common to many healthcare organizations: patient scheduling inefficiencies, insurance processing delays, staffing coordination problems, and patient communication barriers that affected both service quality and operational profitability. These were complex problems that required systematic analysis and creative solutions, rather than simple fixes or cosmetic improvements. My first interview was with Janet Rodriguez, the operations manager at the downtown clinic, who agreed to participate in my project after I explained my academic requirements and genuine interest in healthcare administration. Janet possessed 15 years of experience in medical office management, having worked her way up from receptionist to operations oversight through demonstrated competence and professional development that she had pursued independently while maintaining full-time employment. Janet's willingness to share detailed information about operational challenges reflected her recognition that fresh perspectives could identify improvement opportunities that experienced staff might overlook due to familiarity with existing procedures. She provided access to anonymized operational data, patient flow statistics, and staff scheduling information that enabled comprehensive analysis of clinic efficiency and patient satisfaction metrics. The conversations with Janet revealed management complexities that extended far beyond what our textbook examples had covered. Healthcare operations required coordination of medical professionals, administrative staff, insurance companies, and regulatory requirements while maintaining focus on patient care quality and operational sustainability. Each day brought scheduling changes, insurance complications, and staffing adjustments that tested management flexibility and problem-solving capabilities. My analysis identified several areas where operational improvements could enhance both efficiency and patient satisfaction without requiring significant capital investment or staffing increases. Patient scheduling systems could be optimized to reduce wait times and improve appointment availability. Insurance verification processes could be streamlined to minimize billing delays and payment complications. Staff communication protocols could be enhanced to improve coordination between medical and administrative personnel. The project consumed hundreds of hours over the course of the semester as I gathered data, interviewed staff members, researched best practices, and developed recommendations that addressed specific operational challenges while remaining feasible within the organization's resource constraints. Professor Stevens encouraged my thorough approach, noting that my analysis exceeded typical undergraduate project requirements and demonstrated professional-level thinking about complex business problems. My final presentation to the class included detailed recommendations for Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions that addressed patient scheduling optimization, insurance processing improvements, and staff coordination enhancements. The presentation incorporated data analysis, cost-benefit projections, and implementation timelines that demonstrated practical understanding of business management principles while showcasing my ability to communicate complex ideas clearly and persuasively. Janet Rodriguez attended my final presentation after Professor Stevens extended an invitation to community business partners who had participated in student projects. Her presence added authenticity and pressure to the presentation, as I explained my findings and recommendations to someone who understood the operational realities behind my academic analysis. Following my presentation, Janet approached me with an offer that would fundamentally alter my educational and career trajectory. Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions was seeking a part-time administrative assistant who could implement some of the improvements I had identified while gaining practical experience in healthcare operations. The position would provide relevant work experience while generating income that could support my continued education without requiring family financial assistance. The employment opportunity represented validation of my analytical abilities and professional potential by someone who understood healthcare industry requirements and had observed my work ethic through the semester-long project collaboration. Janet's confidence in my capabilities provided external confirmation that my academic achievements and practical insights had value in professional environments where results mattered more than family connections or social advantages. My parents' reaction to my community college success and employment opportunity was characteristically lukewarm, acknowledging my achievements with polite congratulations that lacked genuine enthusiasm or recognition of the effort required to excel while working full-time at the diner. They seemed to view my progress as expected rather than impressive, maintaining their focus on Isabella's wedding preparations and married life adjustments that continued to dominate family conversations and resources. Isabella's attitude toward my academic and professional progress was more telling than my parents' indifference. She expressed surprise that community college courses were actually difficult, and that employers would consider hiring someone without a traditional 4-year degree. Her comments revealed assumptions about education and career development that reflected the privileged perspective of someone whose opportunities had been provided rather than earned through personal effort and sacrifice. The transition from diner work to healthcare administration represented a significant upgrade in professional environment, earning potential, and career development prospects. Martha Morrison celebrated my new opportunity with genuine pride, expressing confidence that my dedication and analytical abilities would lead to continued advancement in the healthcare field. Her support provided emotional validation during a period when family recognition remained absent. The healthcare office environment introduced me to professional dynamics and administrative responsibilities that were far more complex than my previous work experience had provided. Patient interactions required sensitivity and confidentiality. Insurance processing demanded attention to detail and regulatory compliance. Staff coordination necessitated diplomatic communication and problem-solving abilities that challenged my interpersonal skills while developing capabilities that would prove essential for future leadership roles. My immediate supervisor, Rebecca Chen, served as an experienced mentor who understood the healthcare industry and recognized potential in motivated employees willing to learn complex systems and procedures. She observed my quick adaptation to office protocols, attention to detail in patient record management, and initiative in identifying process improvements that could enhance operational efficiency. Rebecca's mentorship style emphasized learning through gradually increased responsibility rather than formal training programs that might not address specific organizational needs. She assigned projects that required independent research and analysis, while providing guidance that helped me understand how individual tasks contributed to overall organizational objectives and patient care quality. Working in healthcare administration, while pursuing business education, created synergies that enhanced both my academic performance and professional development. Classroom concepts gained practical relevance through daily application in real workplace situations. Work experiences provided concrete examples that enriched my understanding of management theories and business principles covered in my coursework. The financial benefits of healthcare employment enabled me to reduce my diner hours while maintaining total income that supported my educational expenses and personal living costs. This schedule adjustment provided additional study time and reduced the physical exhaustion that had characterized my high school years when I balanced multiple commitments without adequate rest or recovery time. My academic performance during the second semester reflected the improved work-life balance and increased motivation that came from pursuing education with clear career objectives. Dean's List recognition validated my intellectual capabilities while demonstrating that academic excellence was achievable despite non-traditional educational pathways and family circumstances that provided obstacles rather than advantages. Professor Stevens became an academic advisor who helped me understand transfer requirements for four-year universities and develop course selection strategies that would maximize credit transferability while building credentials that healthcare employers valued. Her guidance proved instrumental in navigating complex transfer agreements and scholarship opportunities that could make university education financially feasible. The healthcare industry knowledge I was developing through employment experience began attracting attention from other faculty members who recognized that I possessed practical insights that could enhance classroom discussions and student understanding of business concepts. Professor David Kim, who taught healthcare economics, invited me to share observations about operational challenges and administrative processes that textbook examples often oversimplified. My contributions to classroom discussions demonstrated how theoretical business principles applied to real workplace situations while highlighting gaps between academic models and practical implementation challenges. Other students began seeking my perspective on healthcare-related assignments and career opportunities, establishing me as a resource person whose experience bridged academic study and professional practice. The spring semester brought opportunities to expand my responsibilities at Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions as Janet recognized my capabilities and reliability in managing complex administrative tasks. She assigned me oversight of patient scheduling coordination across multiple clinic locations, a responsibility that required understanding of medical staff availability, patient needs assessment, and resource allocation optimization. This expanded role provided exposure to higher-level operational decisions and strategic planning discussions that revealed how healthcare organizations balanced patient care objectives with financial sustainability requirements. I observed management, meetings where executives discussed expansion opportunities, staffing challenges, and operational improvements that affected multiple clinic locations and hundreds of employees. The management exposure confirmed my career interest in healthcare administration, while providing insights into advancement pathways that existed within the industry for individuals with appropriate education and demonstrated competence. Healthcare organizations valued employees who understood both operational complexity and patient care requirements, creating opportunities for rapid advancement for motivated professionals. My success at Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions generated recommendation letters and professional references that would prove valuable for university transfer applications and future employment opportunities. Janet and Rebecca both expressed willingness to serve as references who could attest to my work ethic, analytical abilities, and professional potential based on direct observation of my performance in demanding workplace situations. The contrast between my family's indifference toward my achievements and the recognition I received from professional mentors became increasingly apparent as I completed my first year of community college. While my parents remained focused on Isabella's post-wedding adjustments and continued financial needs, my workplace supervisors and academic advisors actively supported my educational goals and career development. Isabella's adjustment to married life proved more challenging than she had anticipated, as the elaborate wedding celebration had consumed financial resources without providing preparation for the practical realities of independent household management and career development. She began seeking part-time employment to supplement Derek's mechanic income, expressing frustration that available opportunities required skills and credentials she had not developed during her focus on social activities. Rather than academic or professional preparation, my parents began asking indirect questions about my healthcare employment, expressing curiosity about advancement opportunities and income potential in ways that suggested they were reconsidering their assumptions about career paths that required education versus those that emphasized social connections and family support. Their inquiries remained subtle, but the underlying interest indicated growing awareness that my chosen direction might offer better long-term prospects than they had originally recognized. The foundation I was building through community college, education and healthcare employment, was establishing credentials and experience that would enable successful transfer to a four-year university while providing career security that did not depend on family financial support or approval. Each semester brought increased confidence in my ability to achieve professional success through personal effort and strategic decision-making, rather than relying on advantages that others might possess, but I could earn through dedication and performance. As I prepared to complete my associate degree and transfer to a 4-year university, the transformation from disappointed high school graduate to confident healthcare professional was becoming evident to everyone who observed my progress. The college fund betrayal that had initially devastated my educational plans was evolving into motivation that drove achievements my family had never anticipated or supported, setting the stage for future success that would eventually place me in position to make employment decisions affecting Isabella and other family members who had dismissed my potential. The acceptance letter from Oregon State University arrived at Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions rather than my family home, reflecting my deliberate decision to establish independence from family dynamics that had proven unreliable and occasionally destructive to my aspirations. Janet Rodriguez handed me the envelope with knowing anticipation, having observed my dedication to both professional excellence and educational advancement throughout the 18 months I had worked in healthcare administration while completing my associate degree with highest honors. The letter confirmed my acceptance into the Bachelor of Science program in Health Administration, with advanced standing that recognized all 62 credit hours from my community college coursework. More significantly, the university had awarded me a merit-based scholarship that covered 60% of tuition costs, validation that my academic performance and professional experience had created credentials worthy of institutional investment in my continued education. The scholarship represented more than financial assistance. It constituted recognition that my unconventional educational pathway had produced qualifications that impressed admissions committees and academic administrators. The award criteria emphasized academic excellence, demonstrated leadership potential, and commitment to healthcare service, areas where my combination of coursework and professional experience had created a profile that distinguished me from traditional transfer students. Oregon State University's Health Administration program was renowned throughout the Pacific Northwest for producing graduates who assumed leadership positions in hospitals, medical groups, and healthcare systems across the region. The faculty included former healthcare executives who brought practical experience to academic instruction, while the curriculum emphasized both theoretical foundations and practical applications that prepared students for immediate contribution to complex healthcare organizations. The decision to pursue university education while maintaining part-time employment at Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions required careful coordination and strategic planning that would test my time management abilities and academic focus. Janet supported this arrangement by offering a flexible schedule that accommodated class attendance, while ensuring my continued contribution to operational improvements that had become valuable to the organization. Rebecca Chen, who had been promoted to Assistant Operations Director, became instrumental in restructuring my responsibilities to emphasize strategic analysis and process improvement projects that aligned with my university coursework, while providing practical experience in healthcare management. This arrangement created synergies between academic learning and professional development that would prove invaluable for both immediate performance and future career advancement. My transition to university-level coursework revealed academic rigor that exceeded community college standards while building upon the foundation I had established through intensive study and practical application. Healthcare policy analysis, organizational behavior, financial management, and strategic planning required sophisticated analytical thinking and comprehensive understanding of complex systems that governed healthcare delivery and organizational performance. Professor Michael Harrison taught healthcare operations management with an approach that challenged students to think systematically about efficiency, quality, and patient satisfaction, while understanding financial constraints and regulatory requirements that shaped organizational decision-making. His background as former chief operating officer at Portland Medical Center provided credibility and practical insights that enriched academic concepts with real-world applications. Professor Harrison recognized my unique combination of academic preparation and professional experience during our first class discussion about patient flow optimization. My contributions demonstrated understanding of operational challenges that many students could only approach theoretically, leading to conversations after class that revealed his interest in my career development and potential for healthcare leadership. The relationship with Professor Harrison evolved into an informal mentorship that provided guidance about advanced coursework selection, graduate school preparation, and career opportunities within healthcare administration. His recognition of my potential was particularly meaningful because it came from someone whose professional accomplishments and academic credentials represented the career trajectory I aspired to achieve. My coursework in healthcare financial management proved especially challenging because it required mastery of accounting principles, budget analysis, and financial planning concepts that extended beyond my previous business education. However, my practical experience with insurance processing, revenue cycle management, and operational cost analysis at Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions provided context that helped me understand how theoretical financial concepts applied to daily healthcare operations. The financial management course included a semester-long project that required students to analyze the financial performance of a healthcare organization and develop recommendations for improving profitability while maintaining service quality. I selected Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions with Janet's permission, recognizing that this project would provide value to my employer while demonstrating my analytical capabilities to university faculty. The financial analysis revealed operational inefficiencies and revenue enhancement opportunities that I had not previously identified through my day-to-day administrative responsibilities. Insurance contract negotiations, staffing optimization, and service line expansion represented strategic initiatives that could significantly improve organizational performance while expanding patient access to quality healthcare services. My project presentation to Professor Harrison and guest healthcare executives demonstrated analytical sophistication and practical understanding that impressed the audience while showcasing my ability to communicate complex financial concepts clearly and persuasively. The presentation included detailed recommendations that Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions subsequently implemented, generating measurable improvements in operational efficiency and financial performance. The success of my financial analysis project attracted attention from other faculty members, who recognized that my combination of academic excellence and practical experience created opportunities for research collaboration and advanced study. Professor Sarah Kim, who directed the university's Healthcare Innovation Center, invited me to participate in research projects that examined healthcare delivery models and technology applications that could improve patient outcomes while reducing costs. The research collaboration with Professor Kim provided exposure to healthcare innovation concepts and methodologies that were not covered in regular coursework, while building credentials that would enhance my graduate school applications and career prospects. The research focused on technology-enabled care coordination that could improve patient experience while reducing administrative burden on healthcare providers. My contribution to the research team emphasized practical implementation challenges and operational considerations that academic researchers often overlooked when developing theoretical models for healthcare improvement. My insights about workflow patterns, staff communication requirements, and patient interaction preferences helped shape research designs that addressed real-world implementation barriers rather than idealized scenarios. The research experience confirmed my interest in healthcare innovation and organizational improvement, while providing evidence that my analytical abilities and practical knowledge had value in academic research environments. Professor Kim encouraged my consideration of graduate school programs that combined healthcare administration with research methodology, creating pathways to careers that could influence healthcare policy and organizational practices on broader scales. My family's awareness of my university's success and research involvement remained limited because I had deliberately minimized communication about my academic and professional achievements following their indifference to my initial educational goals. However, occasional interactions revealed their growing recognition that my career trajectory was exceeding their original expectations and generating opportunities they had not anticipated. Isabella's employment situation had become increasingly challenging as she struggled to find positions that provided adequate income and advancement potential, without requiring credentials or experience she had not developed. Her frustration with limited opportunities occasionally led to comments about my apparent career success, though these observations were typically accompanied by suggestions that my achievements resulted from luck rather than preparation and effort. The contrast between my professional advancement and Isabella's employment difficulties became more apparent when she began seeking advice about career development and educational options that might improve her prospects. Her inquiries remained indirect and casual, but they reflected growing awareness that strategic planning and skill development were necessary for achieving financial security and professional satisfaction. My parents' perspective on my achievements remained complex, characterized by pride in my success, combined with discomfort about the independence and self-sufficiency that my education and career had provided. They seemed to appreciate my accomplishments while regretting the emotional distance that had developed as I pursued goals without their support or involvement. The completion of my junior year brought opportunities to apply for summer internships at major healthcare organizations throughout the region. My academic performance, research experience, and professional background created a competitive profile that attracted interest from several prestigious programs, including positions at Oregon Health and Science University Hospital, Kaiser Permanente Northwest, and Providence Health System. The internship selection process required presentations, interviews, and analytical assessments that tested my communication abilities, problem-solving skills, and understanding of healthcare industry challenges. My performance during these evaluations reflected the confidence and competence I had developed through years of academic excellence and professional experience in progressively responsible positions. Kaiser Permanente Northwest offered me a summer internship in their strategic planning department, a position that would provide exposure to organizational strategy development, market analysis, and performance improvement initiatives that shaped one of the region's largest healthcare systems. The internship represented validation of my qualifications while providing experience that would enhance my credentials for post-graduation employment opportunities. The Kaiser internship introduced me to healthcare management at an organizational level that exceeded anything I had previously experienced through my work at Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions. Strategic planning required understanding of market dynamics, competitive positioning, regulatory environment, and organizational capabilities that influence decisions affecting thousands of employees and hundreds of thousands of patients. My supervisor, Director of Strategic Planning Amanda Foster, was a healthcare executive with 15 years of experience in organizational leadership and strategic development. Her recognition of my analytical abilities and strategic thinking capacity provided mentorship that accelerated my understanding of executive-level decision-making and organizational leadership requirements. Amanda assigned me responsibility for analyzing potential clinic expansion opportunities in underserved communities, a project that required market research, financial modeling, and feasibility assessment that would inform executive decisions about resource allocation and strategic priorities. The project combined my academic preparation with practical experience while addressing healthcare access issues that aligned with my personal values and professional interests. The clinic expansion analysis revealed opportunities to improve healthcare access in rural and urban communities where transportation barriers, insurance limitations, and provider shortages created significant challenges for patients seeking quality medical care. My recommendations emphasized community partnership models and technology-enabled service delivery that could expand access while maintaining financial sustainability. The successful completion of my internship project led to discussions about potential full-time employment following my graduation, creating career opportunities that would position me for rapid advancement within one of the region's most respected healthcare organizations. Amanda expressed confidence in my potential for leadership positions, while emphasizing the continued education and experience that would be necessary for achieving executive-level responsibilities. The return to Oregon State University for my senior year brought advanced coursework in healthcare leadership, quality management, and strategic planning that built upon my internship experience while preparing me for graduate-level study and professional practice. My academic performance remained exceptional, while my research involvement expanded to include independent projects that examined healthcare delivery innovations and organizational improvement strategies. Professor Kim recommended me for presentation opportunities at regional healthcare conferences, where my research findings and analytical insights could contribute to professional discussions about industry challenges and improvement opportunities. These presentations provided exposure to healthcare leaders and academic researchers while building professional recognition that would enhance my career prospects. The conference presentations demonstrated my ability to communicate complex ideas to diverse audiences while showcasing analytical capabilities and professional maturity that distinguished me from typical undergraduate students. The positive reception of my presentations led to networking opportunities and professional relationships that would prove valuable for future career development and advancement. My senior thesis focused on technology-enabled healthcare delivery, models that could improve access and quality while reducing costs, a topic that combined my academic interests with practical experience and research background. The thesis required comprehensive literature review, original data analysis, and development of implementation recommendations that addressed real-world operational challenges and organizational constraints. The thesis research provided evidence that strategic technology implementation could significantly improve healthcare outcomes while reducing administrative burden and operational costs. However, successful implementation required careful attention to workflow integration, staff, training, and change management that many organizations overlooked when adopting new technologies and systems. Professor Harrison agreed to serve as my thesis advisor, providing guidance that helped me develop research that met academic standards while addressing practical concerns that healthcare executives would find relevant and actionable. His mentorship during the thesis process reinforced my interest in pursuing graduate education that would combine research methodology with practical management application. The completion of my undergraduate degree represented achievement of goals that had seemed impossible when my family diverted my college fund to support Isabella's wedding expenses. However, the education I had obtained through community college transfer and state university attendance had provided credentials and experience that exceeded what I might have achieved through the traditional 4-year university pathway my original plans had envisioned. The graduation ceremony approached with recognition that my academic and professional achievements had been accomplished independently of family support, while creating opportunities that would enable continued advancement toward leadership positions in healthcare administration. The foundation I had built through strategic planning, persistent effort, and focus on practical skill development had transformed initial disappointment into preparation for future success that would eventually place me in positions of authority over family members who had dismissed my potential. The employment offer from Kaiser Permanente Northwest arrived 3 weeks before my university graduation ceremony, providing validation that my strategic combination of academic excellence, research experience, and practical healthcare administration background had created qualifications that distinguished me from other candidates competing for entry-level management positions. The offer included a starting salary of $68,000 annually, plus comprehensive benefits, representing financial security that exceeded anything my family had achieved through traditional employment pathways. The position title of Healthcare Operations Analyst reflected Kaiser's recognition that my analytical capabilities and practical experience warranted responsibilities beyond typical entry-level assignments. The role would involve examining operational efficiency across multiple clinic locations, identifying improvement opportunities, and implementing process changes that could enhance patient satisfaction while reducing operational costs and administrative burden on medical staff. Amanda Foster, who had supervised my internship and advocated for my employment, explained that Kaiser was seeking healthcare professionals who could bridge the gap between theoretical management concepts and practical implementation challenges that affected daily operations. My background in both academic research and hands-on healthcare administration had demonstrated exactly this combination of skills that the organization valued for addressing complex operational challenges. The employment opportunity represented culmination of strategic planning that had begun when my family diverted my college fund toward Isabella's wedding expenses. Rather than allowing that financial betrayal to limit my educational prospects, I had transformed it into motivation that drove academic excellence and professional development beyond what traditional university attendance might have provided. The position at Kaiser validated that alternative pathways could produce superior outcomes when approached with determination and strategic thinking. My graduation ceremony was attended by Janet Rodriguez and Rebecca Chen from Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions, who had become professional mentors and personal supporters throughout my educational journey. Their presence provided emotional validation that was absent from family attendance, as my parents offered polite congratulations while remaining focused on Isabella's recent pregnancy announcement and the financial adjustments that would require their continued support and assistance. The contrast between my professional achievements and my family's ongoing financial dependence became increasingly apparent as I prepared to begin my career at Kaiser Permanente. While I was establishing independence and building credentials for future advancement, Isabella and Derek were seeking assistance with housing costs and medical expenses associated with pregnancy care that their combined income could not adequately cover. My parents' requests for financial assistance began indirectly through conversations about family unity and mutual support that characterize successful immigrant families. However, their suggestions that my new income created opportunities to help family members who were struggling financially revealed assumptions about obligation and resource sharing that I was not prepared to accept without consideration of the circumstances that had led to our current situations. The transition to Kaiser Permanente introduced me to organizational complexity that exceeded anything I had previously experienced through my work at the smaller healthcare practice. Kaiser operated dozens of medical facilities throughout Oregon and Washington, serving over 500,000 patients through integrated care delivery models that required coordination between primary care physicians, specialists, hospitals, and ancillary service providers. My initial assignment involved analyzing patient scheduling patterns across 10 clinic locations to identify opportunities for improving appointment availability while reducing wait times and operational inefficiencies that affected both patient satisfaction and provider productivity. The project required data analysis capabilities, systems thinking, and change management skills that drew upon my academic preparation, while challenging me to apply theoretical knowledge to complex operational realities. The scheduling analysis revealed significant variations in operational efficiency between clinic locations that could not be explained by patient demographics, facility characteristics, or staffing levels alone. Some clinics achieved excellent patient access and satisfaction scores, while others struggled with persistent backlogs and patient complaints despite similar resources and patient populations. These performance differences suggested that management, practices, and operational procedures were creating competitive advantages that could be replicated across the system. My investigation included extensive interviews with clinic managers, medical staff, and administrative personnel to understand workflow patterns, communication processes, and scheduling procedures that contributed to operational success or created barriers to efficiency. These conversations revealed that high-performing clinics had developed innovative approaches to patient communication, appointment scheduling, and resource utilization that had not been documented or shared with other locations. The research process demonstrated the value of systematic analysis and evidence-based decision-making that I had learned through my academic coursework while revealing practical implementation challenges that required diplomatic communication and change management skills. Healthcare professionals were naturally protective of established procedures and skeptical of changes proposed by newcomers who lacked extensive clinical experience or operational history within the organization. My approach to building credibility, with experienced healthcare staff, emphasized respectful inquiry and collaborative problem-solving rather than external criticism or top-down mandate implementation. I positioned myself as a resource for understanding best practices and facilitating knowledge sharing between high-performing and struggling clinic locations, rather than as an authority figure imposing solutions developed without sufficient understanding of operational constraints. The collaborative approach proved successful in building relationships with clinic staff, who began viewing me as an ally in improving operational efficiency rather than a threat to established procedures and professional autonomy. These relationships enabled access to detailed operational information and honest feedback about proposed changes that would be essential for successful implementation of improvement initiatives. 6 months into my position at Kaiser, I had completed the scheduling optimization project with recommendations that were implemented across the clinic system, resulting in measurable improvements in appointment availability and patient satisfaction scores. The success of this initial project established my credibility within the organization while demonstrating analytical capabilities and change management skills that warranted expanded responsibilities and advanced assignments. Amanda Foster recognized my performance by assigning me leadership of a cross-functional team, examining emergency department patient flow optimization, a more complex project that would require coordination with physicians, nurses, and hospital administrators who possessed significant influence within the organization. The emergency department project represented a substantial increase in responsibility while providing exposure to clinical operations and hospital management that would enhance my understanding of integrated healthcare delivery. The emergency department analysis required understanding of clinical protocols, regulatory requirements, and patient acuity assessment that extended beyond my previous experience with outpatient clinic operations. However, my analytical approach and systematic methodology enabled me to identify workflow bottlenecks and communication barriers that contributed to patient wait times and staff frustration without compromising clinical quality or patient safety. The project team included Dr. Michael Roberts, the Emergency Department Medical Director, whose initial skepticism about administrative analysis gave way to appreciation for evidence-based recommendations that addressed operational challenges. He had observed but lacked time and resources to investigate systematically. His support proved crucial for gaining acceptance from clinical staff who might otherwise resist changes proposed by non-clinical personnel. The emergency department improvements that resulted from our team's analysis reduced average patient wait times by 32% while improving staff satisfaction scores and reducing overtime costs associated with workflow inefficiencies. The project's success generated recognition throughout the Kaiser system, while establishing my reputation as someone who could analyze complex operational challenges and develop practical solutions that improved both clinical outcomes and operational performance. Professional recognition within Kaiser led to invitations to present my findings at regional healthcare management conferences, where my analytical approach and implementation results attracted attention from healthcare executives throughout the Pacific Northwest. These presentations enhanced my professional visibility while building networks that would prove valuable for future career advancement and opportunities. The conference presentations also attracted attention from academic researchers and healthcare consultants who recognized that my combination of analytical rigor and practical implementation experience provided insights that were valuable for both research publication and consulting applications. Several professors from regional universities approached me about collaboration opportunities and potential graduate school programs that could build upon my professional experience. My success at Kaiser was accompanied by increasing requests from family members who had begun to recognize that my career trajectory was providing financial security and professional opportunities that exceeded their original expectations. Isabella's pregnancy had created additional financial pressures that her and Derek's combined income could not adequately address, leading to indirect suggestions that successful family members had obligations to assist relatives who were experiencing financial difficulties. The family requests for assistance were complicated by my recognition that Isabella's current financial challenges resulted partly from decisions to prioritize social activities and wedding expenses over education and career development. While I felt compassion for her circumstances, I was reluctant to provide financial support that might enable continued poor decision-making or create expectations for ongoing assistance that would limit my own financial security and independence. My parents' approach to requesting assistance was characterized by appeals to family loyalty and cultural traditions that emphasized mutual support among family members who had achieved success. However, their arguments overlooked the reality that my achievements had been accomplished without their support, and despite their decision to prioritize Isabella's immediate desires over my educational investments that were generating long-term benefits. The conversations about family financial assistance forced me to establish boundaries that protected my financial security while acknowledging legitimate family relationships and cultural expectations. I decided to provide limited assistance for specific needs related to prenatal care and basic necessities, while declining requests for general financial support that would address lifestyle choices rather than genuine emergencies or essential requirements. My approach to family financial boundaries reflected lessons learned through my educational and professional development about the importance of strategic resource allocation and accountability for personal decisions. While I valued family relationships, I recognized that enabling poor financial decisions would ultimately harm everyone involved, while potentially compromising my own ability to achieve long-term goals and financial independence. Professional advancement at Kaiser continued as I completed my second year with the organization and received promotion to Senior Healthcare Operations Analyst with expanded responsibilities for strategic planning and performance improvement initiatives across the regional system. The promotion included salary increase to $85,000 annually, plus enhanced benefits and stock options that reflected the organization's investment in my continued development and contribution. The senior analyst position involved participation in executive-level strategic planning discussions, where my analytical insights and operational knowledge contributed to decisions about facility expansion, service line development, and technology. Investments that would shape Kaiser's competitive position and patient care capabilities throughout the region. These responsibilities provided exposure to healthcare industry dynamics and organizational leadership that would prepare me for future management positions. My involvement in strategic planning revealed opportunities for healthcare delivery innovation that could improve patient access while reducing costs and administrative complexity. These insights led to my selection for Kaiser's Internal Leadership Development Program, a highly competitive initiative that identified high-potential employees for accelerated advancement and executive preparation through mentorship, advanced training, and strategic project assignments. The Leadership Development Program included monthly seminars with senior executives, quarterly strategic projects that addressed organizational challenges, and individual mentorship with C-level leaders, who provided guidance about career advancement and executive skill development. The program represented recognition of my potential for senior leadership while providing accelerated access to knowledge and networks that would enable rapid career progression. Participation in the Leadership Development Program confirmed my interest in pursuing graduate education that would provide advanced credentials and analytical capabilities for healthcare executive positions. Several program mentors encouraged my consideration of Master of Business Administration programs with healthcare concentration that could build upon my operational experience while providing strategic management frameworks and financial analysis, skills necessary for senior leadership roles. The completion of my third year at Kaiser brought recognition as one of the organization's most promising young leaders, while generating opportunities for advancement to management positions that would provide direct responsibility for operational oversight and staff supervision. These advancement opportunities represented the culmination of strategic career planning that had transformed initial educational disappointment into professional success that exceeded my original aspirations and provided foundation for continued growth toward executive leadership positions that would eventually place me in authority over family members who had once dismissed my potential and sacrificed my educational resources for immediate gratification. The promotion announcement to operations manager for Kaiser Permanente's Central Oregon region arrived during my 4th year with the organization, representing recognition that my analytical capabilities and operational improvements had generated measurable value across multiple healthcare facilities, while demonstrating leadership potential that warranted expanded responsibility and strategic oversight. The position would oversee operations for 8 clinic locations and 2 urgent care centers, managing a staff of 123 employees while maintaining accountability for patient satisfaction metrics, financial performance indicators, and regulatory compliance standards. The management role represented acceleration beyond traditional career progression timelines within healthcare administration, reflecting Kaiser's recognition that my combination of academic preparation, practical experience, and demonstrated results warranted advancement that bypassed conventional hierarchical steps. The promotion included salary increase to $110,000 annually, plus performance bonuses tied to operational metrics and patient satisfaction scores that could significantly enhance total compensation based on management effectiveness. Amanda Foster, who had transitioned to Regional Vice President of Operations, explained that Kaiser was implementing strategic initiatives to expand healthcare access in underserved communities throughout Central Oregon while maintaining operational efficiency and financial sustainability that would enable continued growth and service enhancement. My track record of improving operational performance while building collaborative relationships with clinical staff had demonstrated capabilities that were essential for successful implementation of these expansion initiatives. The Central Oregon assignment required relocation to Bend, Oregon, a growing community that served as the regional hub for healthcare delivery to rural and semi-rural populations who faced transportation barriers, provider shortages, and insurance limitations that complicated access to quality medical care. The demographic characteristics and geographic challenges of the region would test my ability to adapt operational strategies developed in urban settings to the unique requirements of rural healthcare delivery. The transition to management responsibilities introduced complexities that extended beyond my previous experience with project leadership and analytical consulting. Direct supervision of department managers, coordination with medical staff leadership, oversight of budget development and resource allocation, and accountability for regulatory compliance created multifaceted responsibilities that required simultaneous attention to operational details and strategic planning considerations. My initial assessment of Central Oregon operations revealed performance variations between facilities that reflected differences in leadership effectiveness, staff engagement, levels, and operational procedures that had evolved independently without systematic coordination or best practice sharing. Some locations achieved excellent patient satisfaction and operational efficiency metrics, while others struggled with staff turnover, patient complaints, and financial performance that indicated fundamental management and operational challenges. The performance analysis identified opportunities for standardizing successful operational procedures across all facilities, while adapting practices to accommodate local community characteristics and patient population needs that varied between urban, suburban, and rural clinic locations. However, implementation of standardized practices would require change management approaches that respected existing staff relationships and community connections while introducing improvements that enhanced operational effectiveness. My strategy for implementing operational improvements emphasized collaborative development of best practices rather than mandated adoption of procedures developed without input from local staff and management personnel. This approach recognized that sustainable improvements required buy-in from employees who understood local operational challenges and patient needs that might not be apparent to regional management without extensive facility-specific knowledge. and community engagement. The collaborative approach proved successful in building relationships with facility managers and department supervisors who had initially expressed skepticism about directives from relatively young regional management, personnel who lacked extensive operational history within their specific facilities. These relationships enabled honest communication about operational challenges and realistic assessment of improvement strategies that could address local constraints while achieving regional performance standards. 6 months into my management role, the Central Oregon region had achieved measurable improvements in patient satisfaction scores, operational efficiency metrics, and financial performance indicators that exceeded regional targets while maintaining high levels of staff satisfaction and engagement. These results validated my management approach while establishing credibility with senior Kaiser leadership, who were evaluating candidates for expanded responsibilities and advancement opportunities. The operational success in Central Oregon attracted attention from Kaiser's corporate leadership team, who were developing strategic initiatives for healthcare delivery expansion throughout the Pacific Northwest region. My experience implementing improvements in diverse operational environments while maintaining collaborative relationships with clinical and administrative staff had demonstrated capabilities that were valuable for larger-scale strategic initiatives, requiring coordination across multiple regions and facility types. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, Kaiser's Chief Operating Officer for the Pacific Northwest, invited me to participate in strategic planning discussions about regional expansion opportunities that would extend Kaiser's integrated care delivery model to underserved communities throughout Oregon, Washington, and Northern California. These discussions provided exposure to executive-level strategic thinking while contributing analytical insights about operational implementation challenges that could affect the success of expansion initiatives. Participation in strategic planning sessions confirmed my interest in pursuing Master of Business Administration education that would provide advanced strategic management frameworks and financial analysis capabilities necessary for senior executive positions within healthcare organizations. Several Kaiser executives had completed MBA programs while maintaining full-time employment through executive education formats that accommodated working professionals seeking advanced credentials and strategic management capabilities. The decision to pursue MBA education represented strategic investment in long-term career advancement while maintaining momentum within Kaiser's leadership development pipeline. Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management offered an executive MBA program specifically designed for healthcare leaders that would provide relevant curriculum while accommodating my regional management responsibilities through weekend and intensive session formats. The MBA application process required comprehensive documentation of professional achievements, leadership experiences, and strategic contributions that demonstrated readiness for advanced business education and executive-level responsibilities. My track record of operational improvements, change management success, and strategic planning contributions provided evidence of analytical capabilities and leadership potential that distinguished my application from other candidates seeking admission to competitive programs. Northwestern's acceptance notification included merit-based scholarship assistance that recognized my professional achievements while reducing financial burden associated with executive education costs. The scholarship represented validation that my career progression and analytical capabilities warranted institutional investment in my continued development and potential for significant contributions to healthcare leadership and organizational innovation. The Executive MBA program introduced me to strategic management concepts, financial analysis methodologies, and organizational leadership frameworks that expanded my understanding of business strategy and executive decision-making beyond the operational focus that had characterized my previous education and professional experience. The curriculum emphasized case study analysis and collaborative problem-solving that enhanced my ability to evaluate complex business challenges and develop comprehensive solutions that addressed multiple stakeholder interests. My MBA classmates included executives from diverse industries and organizational settings who brought varied perspectives and experiences that enriched classroom discussions while building professional networks that extended beyond healthcare administration. These relationships provided insights into management practices and strategic approaches that were applicable across different business environments, while highlighting healthcare-specific challenges and opportunities that required specialized knowledge and experience. The MBA program's healthcare concentration included courses in health economics, healthcare policy analysis, and strategic management of healthcare organizations that built upon my operational experience while providing broader understanding of industry dynamics, regulatory environment, and competitive forces that shaped organizational strategy and performance within healthcare markets. My MBA thesis project examined technology-enabled healthcare delivery models that could improve access and quality while reducing costs in rural and underserved communities, a topic that combined my academic interests with practical experience, managing operations in Central Oregon's diverse geographic and demographic environment. The research provided evidence that strategic technology implementation could significantly expand healthcare access while maintaining financial sustainability when approached with careful attention to community needs and operational constraints. The thesis research attracted attention from faculty members and healthcare industry professionals who recognized that my analysis addressed practical implementation challenges that academic researchers often overlooked when developing theoretical models for healthcare innovation. Professor David Martinez, who had extensive experience in healthcare consulting and executive advisory services, encouraged my consideration of healthcare consulting opportunities that could leverage my analytical capabilities and operational experience. The completion of my MBA education coincided with Kaiser's announcement of major organizational restructuring that would create new regional leadership positions responsible for coordinating operations across multiple states while implementing strategic initiatives for market expansion and service innovation. These positions represented significant advancement opportunities for high-performing managers who had demonstrated capabilities in operational improvement, change management, and strategic planning. Dr. Walsh approached me about candidacy for the newly created position of Regional Operations Director for the Pacific Northwest Healthcare Solutions Division, a role that would oversee operations for 42 healthcare facilities across Oregon, Washington, and Northern California, while managing annual budgets exceeding $50 million and staff populations approaching 800 employees. The Regional Operations Director position represented the culmination of career planning that had begun when my family redirected my college fund toward Isabella's wedding expenses. Rather than limiting my educational prospects, that financial betrayal had motivated academic excellence and strategic career development that produced qualifications and experience exceeding what traditional university education might have provided without the additional motivation created by family skepticism and financial abandonment. The promotion to Regional Operations Director would place me in position to make employment decisions affecting hundreds of healthcare professionals throughout the Pacific Northwest region, including potential oversight of family members who might seek employment within Kaiser's expanding network of healthcare facilities. The irony was not lost on me that the college fund sacrifice that had initially devastated my educational plans had ultimately motivated achievements that would place me in authority over family members who had benefited from that original financial decision. During this period of professional advancement, Isabella's personal and financial circumstances had become increasingly challenging as her marriage experienced strain related to financial pressures, career limitations, and parenting responsibilities that exceeded her and Derek's combined resources and capabilities. Her recent inquiries about employment opportunities in healthcare administration reflected growing recognition that stable employment with advancement potential required credentials and experience that she had not developed through her focus on social activities rather than strategic career planning. My parents' perspective on family dynamics had shifted significantly as they observed the contrast between my professional success and Isabella's ongoing financial struggles. Their previous assumptions about career advancement through social connections rather than educational achievement had proven inadequate for addressing the practical realities of economic stability and professional growth in competitive employment markets that required demonstrable skills and credentials. The family conversations about employment assistance became more frequent and direct as Isabella's financial situation deteriorated and her recognition of my professional capabilities increased. However, these discussions remained complicated by the underlying tension created by their previous decisions to prioritize Isabella's immediate desires over my educational investments that were now generating the professional success and financial security they were seeking to access through family connections. My approach to potential family employment assistance emphasized professional standards and merit-based evaluation rather than familial obligation or preferential treatment that would compromise organizational integrity or my professional reputation. Within Kaiser's competitive healthcare environment, any employment opportunities would need to be earned through demonstrated qualifications and performance rather than assumed through family relationships that could create conflicts of interest or perceptions of favoritism. The regional operations director position would provide platform for implementing strategic initiatives that could improve healthcare access while creating employment opportunities for qualified candidates who demonstrated commitment to excellence and patient service that characterized Kaiser's organizational culture. These opportunities would be available to all qualified applicants, including family members who developed appropriate credentials and demonstrated professional capabilities that met organizational standards and requirements. The transformation from disappointed high school graduate whose college fund was sacrificed for family priorities to regional operations director with authority over major healthcare operations represented validation that initial setbacks could become sources of motivation when channeled into strategic planning and persistent effort toward meaningful goals. The position would enable continued advancement toward executive leadership, while providing opportunities to influence healthcare delivery and organizational innovation that could benefit thousands of patients and healthcare professionals throughout the region. The Regional Operations Director appointment ceremony at Kaiser Permanente's Portland headquarters was attended by senior healthcare executives from across the Pacific Northwest, representing formal recognition that my strategic leadership and operational excellence had positioned me among the most promising healthcare administrators in the region. At 30 years of age, I had achieved executive-level responsibility that typically required decades of progressive advancement, validating the career strategy that transformed educational setbacks into accelerated professional development through focused determination and strategic decision-making. Dr. Jennifer Walsh introduced me to the assembled executives as someone who exemplified Kaiser's commitment to promoting leaders who demonstrated both analytical excellence and collaborative management approaches that improved organizational performance while maintaining high standards of patient care and employee satisfaction. The introduction emphasized my track record of implementing operational improvements across diverse healthcare environments, while building consensus among clinical and administrative staff who had initially questioned changes proposed by relatively young management personnel. The appointment included responsibility for overseeing operations at 42 healthcare facilities across 3 states, managing annual operating budgets approaching $60 million, and directing strategic initiatives that would expand healthcare access in underserved communities while maintaining financial sustainability and regulatory compliance. The scope of responsibility represented substantial expansion from my previous regional management role, while providing platform for influencing healthcare delivery policies and practices that could affect hundreds of thousands of patients throughout the Pacific Northwest. The executive transition required relocation to Portland, Oregon, which served as Kaiser's regional headquarters and coordinated strategic planning activities for the broader Pacific Northwest market. The move represented both professional advancement and personal milestone, as I established residence in the city where my original college aspirations had been redirected toward alternative educational pathways that ultimately produced superior career outcomes compared to traditional university. Attendance funded through family resources. My executive compensation package included base salary of $150,000 annually, plus performance bonuses tied to operational metrics, patient satisfaction scores, and financial performance indicators that could increase. Total compensation significantly based on regional achievements and strategic initiative implementation. The compensation represented financial security that exceeded anything my family had achieved through conventional employment, while providing resources for continued professional development and personal financial independence. The executive role introduction process included comprehensive briefings on Kaiser's strategic objectives, competitive positioning, and operational challenges that would shape my leadership priorities and resource allocation decisions. The Pacific Northwest region faced increasing competition from national healthcare chains seeking market share expansion, while managing cost pressures from insurance payers, demanding improved efficiency and outcome-based payment models that required sophisticated operational management and strategic planning. My initial assessment of regional operations revealed significant opportunities for improving coordination between facilities, while standardizing successful practices that had been developed independently at high-performing locations. The analysis identified operational inefficiencies that were reducing patient access and increasing costs while creating staff frustration and turnover that affected service quality and organizational culture throughout the region. The operational improvement strategy emphasized collaborative development of best practices through cross-facility teams that included representation from clinical staff, department managers, and administrative personnel who understood local, operational constraints and patient population characteristics. This approach recognized that sustainable improvements required input from employees who would be responsible for implementing changes while maintaining quality standards and patient satisfaction levels. Implementation of operational improvements began with pilot programs at selected facilities that demonstrated varying performance levels, allowing systematic evaluation of change management approaches and measurement of improvement outcomes before broader regional implementation. The pilot approach reduced implementation risks while providing evidence-based validation of improvement strategies that could guide larger-scale organizational changes. 6 months into my executive role, regional performance metrics had improved significantly across patient satisfaction scores, operational efficiency indicators, and financial performance measures that exceeded corporate targets while maintaining staff satisfaction levels that indicated successful change management implementation. These results validated my leadership approach, while establishing credibility with corporate executives who were evaluating candidates for expanded responsibilities and advancement opportunities. The regional performance improvements attracted attention from Kaiser's national leadership team, who were developing strategic initiatives for healthcare delivery expansion throughout Western United States markets that required coordination across multiple regions and integration with existing Kaiser facilities and service networks. My experience implementing improvements across diverse operational environments while maintaining collaborative relationships with varied stakeholder groups had demonstrated capabilities that were valuable for larger-scale strategic initiatives. Dr. Michael Thompson, Kaiser's Executive Vice President for Strategic Development, invited me to participate in corporate strategic planning committees that were evaluating potential acquisitions, partnership opportunities, and market expansion, initiatives that would extend Kaiser's integrated care delivery model to new geographic markets and patient populations. These committees provided exposure to executive-level strategic thinking while contributing analytical insights about operational integration challenges that could affect acquisition success and partnership effectiveness. Participation in corporate strategic planning confirmed my interest in pursuing additional executive education that would provide advanced knowledge of mergers and acquisitions, strategic partnerships, and international healthcare delivery models that were becoming increasingly important in competitive healthcare markets. Harvard Business School offered executive education programs specifically designed for healthcare leaders that would provide relevant curriculum while accommodating my regional executive responsibilities. The Harvard Executive Education Program, focused on strategic management of healthcare organizations in competitive markets, providing frameworks for evaluating acquisition opportunities, developing partnership strategies, and implementing organizational changes that could improve performance, while maintaining clinical quality and patient satisfaction. The curriculum emphasized case study analysis and peer learning that enhanced my understanding of complex strategic decisions and their implementation challenges. My Harvard classmates included senior healthcare executives from national and international organizations who brought diverse perspectives and experiences that enriched program discussions while building professional networks that extended beyond regional healthcare markets. These relationships provided insights into healthcare industry trends and strategic approaches that were applicable across different market environments while highlighting opportunities for knowledge sharing and collaborative innovation. The executive education experience reinforced my understanding that successful healthcare leadership required continuous learning and adaptation to changing market conditions, regulatory requirements, and technological innovations that were transforming healthcare delivery models and organizational structures. The program provided frameworks for evaluating strategic options and implementing complex organizational changes that would be essential for continued advancement toward senior executive positions. During this period of professional advancement, my family dynamics had shifted significantly as Isabella and Derek faced increasing financial pressures related to childcare costs, housing expenses, and limited career advancement opportunities that reflected their lack of strategic planning and credential development. Isabella's recognition of my professional success had evolved from casual acknowledgement to active interest in potential employment opportunities within healthcare administration that could provide career stability and advancement potential. Isabella's inquiries about healthcare employment opportunities became more frequent and specific as her financial situation deteriorated and her understanding of my professional capabilities increased. However, these discussions revealed significant gaps between her employment expectations and the qualifications required for entry-level positions within Kaiser's competitive healthcare environment that emphasized performance standards and professional development rather than personal connections or preferential treatment. My parents had also begun expressing interest in my professional network and potential assistance with employment opportunities that could provide financial stability and benefits that their current positions lacked. Their approach remained indirect, but persistent, emphasizing family loyalty and mutual support obligations that characterize successful immigrant families, while overlooking the reality that my achievements had been accomplished without their assistance and despite their previous financial decisions that had complicated my educational pathway. The family requests for employment assistance created complex dynamics that required careful navigation between personal relationships and professional responsibilities that could not be compromised without affecting my credibility and effectiveness within Kaiser's organizational culture. Any employment opportunities would need to be evaluated based on merit and organizational needs, rather than family obligations that could create conflicts of interest or perceptions of favoritism among staff and colleagues. My approach to potential family employment assistance emphasized professional development and credential building that would enable qualified candidacy for positions within Kaiser's healthcare system, rather than preferential consideration that would compromise hiring standards or organizational integrity. This strategy recognized that sustainable employment required demonstrated capabilities and performance rather than personal connections that might provide initial access but could not ensure long-term success or advancement. The regional operations responsibilities provided opportunities to influence hiring practices and employment policies that could create pathways for qualified candidates from diverse backgrounds while maintaining performance standards that ensured organizational excellence and patient care quality. These opportunities would be available to all qualified applicants who demonstrated commitment to professional development and organizational values that characterized Kaiser's healthcare mission. My executive role also provided platform for implementing workforce development initiatives that could provide training and advancement opportunities for existing employees while creating career pathways that encouraged professional growth and retention within Kaiser's healthcare system. These initiatives addressed organizational needs for skilled healthcare administrators while providing advancement opportunities for motivated employees who demonstrated performance excellence and commitment to continued learning. The workforce development programs included partnerships with regional educational institutions that provided tuition assistance and flexible scheduling for employees pursuing healthcare administration credentials, business management education, and specialized training that could enhance their qualifications for advancement within Kaiser's organizational structure. These programs created systematic pathways for career development, while ensuring that promoted employees possessed credentials and capabilities necessary for effective performance in advanced positions. Isabella's interest in workforce development opportunities reflected her growing recognition that career advancement required strategic planning and skill development rather than social connections or family assistance that had characterized her previous approach to employment and financial security. Her inquiries about educational requirements and training programs indicated willingness to invest effort in credential development that could qualify her for entry-level positions within healthcare administration. The potential for Isabella's eventual employment within Kaiser's healthcare system represented completion of the transformation that began when my family diverted my college fund toward her wedding expenses. The irony was profound that the daughter whose educational opportunities had been sacrificed to support Isabella's celebration might eventually become her supervisor within the healthcare organization where my strategic career development had created executive-level authority and decision-making responsibility. The Regional Operations Director position provided foundation for continued advancement toward senior executive roles that could influence healthcare policy and organizational innovation on national and international levels. The experience gained through managing complex healthcare operations while implementing strategic initiatives would be valuable for chief operating officer positions and other senior leadership roles that required comprehensive understanding of healthcare delivery, systems and organizational management. The transformation from disappointed high school graduate to healthcare executive with regional authority represented validation that initial setbacks could become sources of strength when approached with strategic thinking and persistent effort toward meaningful objectives. The position enabled continued influence over healthcare delivery and organizational excellence, while providing opportunities to support qualified candidates from diverse backgrounds who demonstrated commitment to professional development and organizational mission achievement. The corporate directive to lead Kaiser Permanente's acquisition of 3 independent healthcare systems throughout the Pacific Northwest arrived during my second year as Regional Operations Director, representing recognition that my strategic planning capabilities and operational integration experience qualified me for managing complex organizational transitions that would expand Kaiser's market presence while maintaining service quality and financial performance. The acquisition project would involve coordinating the integration of Cascade Medical Group, Olympic Peninsula Healthcare, and Willamette Valley Medical Centers into Kaiser's operational framework, while preserving valuable aspects of their existing organizational cultures and community relationships. Dr. Michael Thompson explained that the acquisition initiative represented Kaiser's response to increasing market competition from national healthcare chains that were expanding aggressively throughout Western states, while targeting the same patient populations and geographic markets that Kaiser served through its integrated care delivery model. The strategic importance of the acquisitions extended beyond market share considerations to include access to specialized medical services, geographic coverage expansion, and operational efficiencies that could enhance Kaiser's competitive positioning and financial sustainability. The integration planning process required comprehensive analysis of each target organization's operational procedures, financial performance, staffing structures, and community relationships to develop implementation strategies that would preserve valuable organizational capabilities while aligning operations with Kaiser's standards and expectations. This analysis revealed significant variations in management practices, technology systems, and clinical protocols that would require careful coordination and change management to achieve successful integration without disrupting patient care. Or, employee satisfaction. Cascade Medical Group operated 12 clinic locations throughout Central Oregon with particular strength in family medicine, pediatrics, and urgent care services that served rural communities where Kaiser had limited presence. The organization's financial performance was solid but not exceptional, with opportunities for improvement through operational efficiency enhancements and technology system upgrades that could reduce administrative costs while improving patient access and satisfaction. Olympic Peninsula Healthcare included 2 small hospitals and 8 clinic locations serving communities along Washington's coastal region, where geographic isolation and demographic characteristics created unique challenges for healthcare delivery. The organization had developed innovative approaches to telemedicine and mobile health services that could provide valuable capabilities for Kaiser's broader strategic initiatives while requiring integration with existing technology platforms and clinical protocols. Willamette Valley Medical Centers represented the largest acquisition target with 15 clinic locations, 1 hospital, and 2 surgery centers serving urban and suburban communities throughout the Willamette Valley region of Oregon. The organization possessed strong financial performance and operational efficiency metrics, but lacked the integrated care coordination and technology infrastructure that characterized Kaiser's service delivery model and competitive advantages. My integration strategy emphasized collaborative planning processes that included leadership representation from each acquired organization, while maintaining clear authority structures and decision-making frameworks that would enable efficient implementation of necessary changes. The approach recognized that successful integration required input from employees who understood local operational challenges and community needs while ensuring alignment with Kaiser's organizational standards and strategic objectives. The integration planning committees included physicians, nurses, department managers, and administrative personnel from each acquired organization alongside Kaiser representatives who possessed expertise in operational procedures, technology, systems, and clinical protocols. These committees provided forums for identifying integration challenges and developing solutions that addressed operational requirements, while maintaining staff engagement and patient satisfaction during transition periods. Implementation of the integration plan began with pilot programs at selected facilities that represented different organizational characteristics and operational challenges, allowing systematic evaluation of integration approaches and measurement of transition outcomes before broader implementation across all acquired facilities. The pilot approach reduced implementation risks while providing evidence-based validation of integration strategies that could guide larger-scale organizational changes. The integration process revealed significant opportunities for operational improvement through standardization of clinical protocols, implementation of Kaiser's electronic health record system, and adoption of evidence-based management practices that had proven successful across Kaiser's existing facility network. However, implementation of these improvements required careful change management that respected existing organizational cultures while achieving necessary alignment with Kaiser's operational standards. 6 months into the integration process, performance metrics across the acquired facilities had improved substantially while maintaining high levels of staff satisfaction and patient access that indicated successful change management implementation. The integration success attracted recognition from Kaiser's corporate leadership while establishing my credibility for managing complex organizational transitions that required coordination across multiple stakeholder groups and geographic regions. The acquisition integration experience confirmed my capabilities for senior executive positions that required strategic planning, change management, and organizational leadership across large-scale healthcare systems. Dr. Thompson recommended my candidacy for Kaiser's Executive Leadership Development Program, an exclusive initiative that prepared high-potential leaders for Chief Operating Officer and Chief Executive Officer positions within Kaiser's national healthcare network. The Executive Leadership Development Program included quarterly sessions with Kaiser's senior executives, strategic project assignments that addressed corporate-level challenges, and individual mentorship with C-suite leaders who provided guidance about executive advancement and organizational leadership requirements. The program represented recognition of exceptional potential while providing accelerated access to knowledge and networks that would enable progression to senior executive positions. Participation in the Executive Leadership Development Program introduced me to strategic management concepts and organizational leadership frameworks that extended beyond operational management to include corporate governance, stakeholder relationship, management, and strategic decision-making that affected entire healthcare systems and regional markets. The curriculum emphasized case study analysis and executive coaching that enhanced my understanding of complex business challenges and leadership approaches. My program colleagues included regional executives from Kaiser facilities throughout California, Colorado, Hawaii, and other markets where Kaiser operated integrated healthcare delivery systems. These relationships provided insights into diverse market conditions and operational approaches while building professional networks that would prove valuable for future career advancement and knowledge sharing across Kaiser's national organization. The strategic project assignment within the Executive Leadership Development Program focused on developing recommendations for Kaiser's expansion into international healthcare markets that could leverage the organization's integrated care delivery expertise while addressing regulatory requirements and cultural considerations that affected healthcare operations in different countries. The project required analysis of potential markets, regulatory frameworks, and partnership opportunities that could enable successful international expansion. The international expansion analysis revealed significant opportunities for Kaiser's healthcare delivery model in markets where demographic trends, healthcare infrastructure limitations, and regulatory environments created demand for integrated care coordination and technology-enabled service delivery. However, successful international expansion would require strategic partnerships with local healthcare organizations and careful adaptation of operational procedures to accommodate different regulatory requirements and cultural expectations. My recommendations for international expansion emphasized partnership strategies that could provide market access while leveraging local knowledge and relationships that would be essential for successful healthcare operations in unfamiliar regulatory and cultural environments. The analysis included detailed implementation timelines, resource requirements, and performance metrics that could guide international expansion decisions and measure implementation success. The international expansion project attracted attention from Kaiser's board of directors and senior corporate leadership, who were evaluating strategic growth opportunities that could diversify revenue sources while extending Kaiser's healthcare mission to underserved populations in international markets. The project's quality and strategic insights demonstrated analytical capabilities and strategic thinking that qualified me for consideration for senior executive positions within Kaiser's national organization. During this period of professional advancement and corporate recognition, my family's financial circumstances had continued to deteriorate as Isabella and Derek struggled with increasing childcare costs, housing expenses, and limited career advancement. Opportunities that reflected their lack of strategic career planning and professional development. Isabella's interest in potential employment within healthcare administration had evolved from casual inquiry to urgent necessity as her family's financial pressures mounted, and traditional employment options proved inadequate for their economic needs. Isabella's requests for employment assistance had become more direct and frequent as she recognized that my executive position within Kaiser provided potential access to employment opportunities that could offer career stability and advancement, potential that her current job search efforts had not produced. However, her employment expectations continued to exceed the qualifications she possessed for entry-level positions within Kaiser's competitive healthcare environment that emphasized performance standards and professional credentials. My parents had also intensified their expressions of interest in my professional network and potential assistance with employment opportunities that could provide improved financial security and benefits compared to their current positions. Their approach emphasized family obligations and cultural expectations that successful family members should assist relatives who were experiencing financial difficulties while overlooking the professional standards and merit-based evaluation that characterized healthcare employment within Kaiser's organizational culture. The family requests for employment assistance created increasingly complex dynamics that required careful management to maintain professional credibility while preserving personal relationships that remained important despite previous financial decisions that had complicated my educational pathway. Any employment opportunities would need to be evaluated based on organizational needs and candidate qualifications rather than family relationships that could compromise hiring integrity or create perceptions of favoritism. My approach to potential family employment assistance continued to emphasize professional development and credential building that could enable legitimate candidacy for positions within Kaiser's healthcare system rather than preferential consideration that would violate organizational policies and professional ethics. This strategy recognized that sustainable employment required demonstrated capabilities and performance rather than personal connections that might provide temporary access, but could not ensure long-term success. The regional operations responsibilities provided opportunities to influence workforce development policies and employment practices that could create systematic pathways for qualified candidates from diverse backgrounds while maintaining performance standards that ensured organizational excellence and patient care quality. These opportunities included partnerships with educational institutions and professional development programs that could help interested candidates develop necessary credentials and capabilities. Isabella's growing recognition of the educational and professional development requirements for healthcare administration positions led to her enrollment in community college courses that could provide foundational knowledge and credentials for entry-level healthcare positions. Her commitment to educational advancement represented significant change from her previous approach to career development, while demonstrating willingness to invest effort in qualification development rather than relying solely on family connections for employment opportunities. The potential trajectory toward Isabella's eventual employment within Kaiser's healthcare system represented profound transformation of family dynamics that had begun when my college fund was redirected toward her. Wedding expenses. The possibility that she might eventually work within the organization where I held executive authority provided compelling evidence that initial setbacks could create motivation for achievements that exceeded original aspirations while establishing professional relationships that transcended family dynamics. The Executive Leadership Development Program completion positioned me for advancement to senior executive roles that could influence healthcare policy and organizational innovation on national and international levels. The experience gained through managing complex healthcare acquisitions while implementing strategic initiatives provided qualifications for chief operating officer positions and other senior leadership roles that required comprehensive understanding of healthcare delivery systems and strategic management. The appointment to Vice President of Strategic Operations for Kaiser Permanente's Western Region represented culmination of systematic career advancement that had transformed initial educational setbacks into professional achievements exceeding anything my original college plans might have produced. The announcement was made during Kaiser's annual leadership conference in San Francisco, where Dr. Jennifer Walsh introduced me to an audience of senior healthcare executives as an exemplary leader whose innovative approaches to operational excellence and strategic integration had generated measurable improvements across multiple healthcare markets throughout the Pacific Northwest. The promotion included comprehensive responsibility for overseeing strategic operations across 87 healthcare facilities spanning 4 states, coordinating annual operating budgets approaching $200 million, and directing workforce development initiatives that would shape Kaiser's competitive positioning and organizational capabilities for the next decade. The scope of authority represented substantial expansion from my previous regional responsibilities, while providing platform for influencing healthcare delivery policies and strategic direction at corporate levels that affected Kaiser's national operations and market positioning. The executive compensation package reflected Kaiser's investment in retaining high-performing leaders who demonstrated capabilities for advancing organizational mission and strategic objectives through collaborative management approaches and evidence-based decision-making. The base salary of $225,000 annually, combined with performance incentives tied to operational metrics and strategic initiative implementation, provided financial security that validated years of strategic career planning while enabling continued professional development and advanced education that would prepare me for eventual Chief Operating Officer responsibilities. Dr. Michael Thompson explained that the vice president appointment recognized my demonstrated capabilities in managing complex organizational transitions, implementing strategic initiatives across diverse operational environments, and building collaborative relationships with clinical staff, administrative personnel, and community stakeholders who were essential for successful healthcare delivery and organizational performance. The position would require coordination with Kaiser's corporate leadership team while maintaining accountability for regional performance metrics that directly affected patient satisfaction, financial sustainability, and competitive market positioning. The strategic operations responsibilities included overseeing Kaiser's expansion into rural healthcare markets that presented unique challenges related to provider recruitment, technology infrastructure, and community engagement that required innovative approaches to healthcare delivery and operational management. These markets represented significant growth opportunities while demanding careful attention to cost control, quality maintenance, and regulatory compliance that characterized successful healthcare operations in underserved geographic regions. My initial assessment of Western region operations revealed substantial opportunities for improving coordination between urban and rural facilities, while implementing technology solutions that could enhance patient access and clinical outcomes, without requiring proportional increases in operational costs or staffing levels. The analysis identified specific areas where standardization of clinical protocols and administrative procedures could generate efficiency improvements while maintaining flexibility necessary for addressing diverse community needs and patient populations. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.